Hey, what's up YouTube? Today we're going to be going over a little analysis, breakdown, whatever you want to call it, of my swing trade on NAKD. I hopped into this stock at 67 cents. It's currently closed up at 90 cents per share, so quite a decent gain there. And my goal with this video is to help you learn exactly how I find my entries for swing trades, what my criteria for swinging stocks is, how to stay patient for that big move, and ultimately how to have that trader mindset, which will allow you to have the confidence to hold stocks for multiple days and even weeks, as long as you have a profitable strategy to follow. So this is going to be a good lesson, especially for this current market. You know, we have so many swing trading stocks, CEI, NAKD, BCTX, and so many more. So this is going to be a good lesson for some of you traders who are a bit too skittish and who think that you must day trade only. You know, it's a very known saying that you should let your winners run. And so that means you're going to have to be able to have the confidence to hold stocks overnight. It's not that risky if you can do it right. So we're going to break it down right now. All right, so here we are on my screen share. This charting platform is eTrade Pro. I just use this mainly for the teaching purposes. It's very easy to navigate. My broker is Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade. So, you know, there's a whole ton of information down below. Best tools to use, best softwares to use. Check that out if you need it. But here you can see the daily chart of NAKD, and it is kind of messy right now. There is quite a few levels just kind of scattered all over. But I'm going to do my best to help you understand exactly what's going on here and how I planned my trade on NAKD. So if we go back to Friday was when I actually bought into this stock. And you can see it tested these levels of support from 67 down to 66 cents. It did go a tiny bit lower down into the mid 65s, but overall held that support very well. And what I want to make very clear to you right now is that I had these levels of support drawn off even before it tested. I had it drawn off when the stock looked like this, okay? And I was waiting for the trade to fall down and hit those levels. So this is going to be kind of a very opening concept to most of you who have never watched my videos, but my strategy is to take the risk into support. I don't look for confirmation. I don't use any extra indicators and time exactly when the stock is going to go up. All I do is find historical levels of support and resistance. When the setup is right, I take the risk into them. I leave a limit buy down there and let the stock fall down to me. So then I have the best entry possible. I don't know if it's going to hold, but if it does, I'm in at the bottom. And if it doesn't hold, I can react to it when it actually breaks. You see, the problem that so many traders run into is that they're so afraid of taking losses. They're so afraid of, you know, having the highest win rate possible. But the thing is that win rate is only one piece of the puzzle. It's a combination of win rate and your risk to reward ratio on all of your trades that is going to make you profitable. It's not just win rate. You could have a win rate of 90%, but if you only make 10 cents whenever you're right, but you lose 90 cents when you're wrong, that's a losing strategy. It's not profitable. So what I've learned over my years is that it's impossible to predict breakouts and breakdowns. Not impossible, but like it's very hard to do consistently. What I have found success in doing is just identifying these critical levels, taking the risk, buying at support, knowing that, hey, I don't know if it's going to hold, but if it does hold, I have a really good entry and I can ride stocks for these big moves like NAKD running up to 90 cents today. I'm still holding a position on this. I did sell some. I'll talk about that at 85 cents. But overall, I'm up right now on the rest. I realized 33%. Easy peasy, just using core levels of support and resistance. So I know there's probably so many questions. Well, okay, how did you find these levels of support? I'm going to break that down right now. So let's just kind of do some background analysis of NAKD. Number one, why was this stock running? What's the sector like? And what is the market situation like right now? And if you watched my previous video where I talked about my swing on CEI ended up squeezing even further. The market is being ran by this right now, right? There's a lot of FOMO on CEI. It's been on a tear from 50 cents up to 280. And the reason why CEI is running and the main hype that's behind it is this carbon capture technology. Basically, They have technology that's able to capture carbon, which is a big bonus for lots of these industrial companies who will start to get these rebates if they're able to be carbon negative. So that's why CEI is being pumped up right now. Now, on Friday, NAKD, they are a lingerie company, believe it or not. But it's not uncommon to see these penny stocks will try to shift to whatever sector is hot, just so they can dilute the company afterwards. But NAKD, they came out on Friday and they said that they were looking at acquiring a carbon capture company. And they were very close to reaching an agreement with a merger. So obviously nothing confirmed, right? I don't believe in the long-term success of NAKD or CEI at all, but I am a trader and I understand where hype can flow. So that's what spiked up NAKD on Friday, right? It had significant volume and it was able to put itself into some sort of trend. So that's the reason why I traded it. I knew that it was a sympathy play to CEI. And ultimately, I knew that if it could hold support, it can go further. So now let's talk about that support aspect. Okay, how did I identify these levels? Now, this is going to be a big secret for a lot of traders, but I'm just going to expose it here. All I do is I look at the historical time frames, daily chart, weekly chart, on the 1 year, 5 year, max year, however back you need to go to find places where the stock ran into support and resistance in the past. So I'm going to delete all these levels here. I'll just go here, go draw and clear drawings, okay? And we're going to go back to the historical chart. I'm not going to go back too far because it's a massive reverse split machine. But if we just go here and go to the weekly chart, and the secret is to use the line chart to find levels easier. Now, all we need to do is just mark off places where the stock has seen resistance in the past. And we can just work from the closest date and go backwards, all right? So we'll do that right now. First level I see, if we go left, we see this top here at 66 cents. Go a bit further. There's another one here near 74, right near 75. We go back and up. I don't want to mark this one because it's already, it's going down. I want to go up. Next level we see here is 85. Then we see $1. You could mark off this one 110, 145, and 166. We could just stop there for now. So I got all those levels, not even looking at the intraday chart, right? So now what to look for whenever I'm looking to trade a stock that has a catalyst, the number one thing I want to see is, does the intraday price action respect the weekly chart levels? What I mean by that, you can see here on Friday, it spiked up. It did kind of respect 66 here on this micro pullback, but ultimately we can definitely agree, right? There's no second guessing. It definitely saw resistance at that 75-cent level. So right away, when we see this spike, we know, hey, this stock has a good thesis behind it. It's a sympathy play to CEI, and it's respecting weekly chart levels. So now I kind of tell myself, all right, if it's going to respect weekly chart resistance on the way up, where could we see support when it pulls back down? Probably on a weekly chart level, right? Because if it's using that as resistance, we can only assume it's going to use that as support too. And once again, there's no guarantee, right? It's just an edge that we play. I want to be very clear with that. It's not always going to hold support. You have to have your risk managed in case it doesn't. But if it does, you know that you have a bottom entry. So after I saw this kind of spike up, reject that resistance, I made a plan. All right, I'm going to buy shares anywhere from 68 cents down to 66 cents, making my thesis that as long as the stock is able to hold previous resistance from the weekly chart as new support, it's going to run up and test next levels of resistance. And because we have the massive kind of hype around CEI, it wouldn't be surprising to see NAKD also see a massive rally. So I threw my limit buys down there and I waited. Eventually, towards the close, you can see it fell down, tested that support, but ultimately it held above it, right? It held it. And even if you look at the 30-minute chart, which is what I usually use for these type of entries, all the candles held perfectly, right? There was no breakdown. It like didn't even test 65 cents. So clearly there was massive support there. So that's how we get the entries, right? Obviously, you have to be very disciplined in what trades you take. Not many trades will fit this type of setup, but the ones that do can become very big winners. It's up to you as a trader to find what system works for you and only trade that, right? There are so many stocks that run throughout the day that I don't trade because I know that if I trade my system and my system only, that's how I see success in the markets. That's how you play the game of being a trader. Everyone is so focused on how their next trade will do. Is it going to be a winner? Is it going to be a loser? But what you need to focus on and really refine your thinking to is, hey, this next trade I'm taking is one of 10,000 trades of my career. So I don't care if that next trade is a winner or a loser. All I care about within that next trade is, am I following my system that will make me profitable over thousands of trades? And that's the key to trading. Trust me. Talk to any successful trader. All of them have some sort of edge over the market and a very disciplined approach to how they take their trades over and over and over again. That's all that's required. So there's the entry, right? And then as far as taking the profits, I also use levels from the historical chart. Now, I've been trying to be a bit more patient on selling into the upside. I really need to work on making my winners win for me. So usually I would want to take my first partials into the first intraday resistance. But here I didn't do that because we had CEI, massive hype running from 50 cents to $2. I figured that, hey, if this is a winning trade, it's going to go further than 75 cents. So I'm going to hold on to my shares and just wait to see what happens. I was talking to the Trade Buddy members in the post-market webinar today, and I told them that, hey, the only thing that is stopping your winning trades from being bigger winners is time. If you can just allow time to pass and watch the big picture trend, as long as the big picture trend is still bullish, you can only assume that if more time passes, it'll go further. And you keep on assuming that until you obviously see signs of weakness. So that was my main goal, right? I wanted to let it break out over that resistance. It pulled back. It found support very well in the low 70s. That was still overall bullish. And then it was able to break out even further. It saw some resistance at 83 cents, but that was fine with me. At this time, I said, hey, as long as previous resistance, which was set intraday down here in the mid 70s, holds as new support, I'm going to wait for my first target in the 85 cent area. I had a limit sell waiting all day just under 84 or 85 cents to lock in my first partial from 67. And I said, as long as it holds support, all I have to do is wait, right? Just give it the time it needs to build up that next push, wash out all the flippers. And then eventually it was able to squeeze higher. And right into market close, I got my first partial fill at 84.7, posted it in Trade Buddy, posted it on Twitter too. And now it was able to run up even further into the 90 cent area. And now going into tomorrow, my main game plan is, hey, as long as it can hold 82 cents, the chart is overall bullish. If it breaks below 82 cents, then I'm going to do my best to sell the rest of my shares into the bounce and rejection of the 80s, and then the trade's done. If it breaks higher, then I can look for a re-entry like I did on CEI, but ultimately that is the strategy. And now it's up to you with whatever strategy that you trade. Number one, make it a strict strategy. Number two, do your best on every trade that you take. Number one, make sure that you treat every trade independent from the last and focus on that next trade to execute your system perfectly. It's going to be tough. It's going to be very hard to avoid over trading, avoid chasing those pump plays. But if you can just do it for the first few times, the more you instill that practice, the easier it gets. It's like going to the gym, right? The first few times suck. You're all sweaty. You don't want to go. But eventually, if you keep going, it's just what you do. Same kind of thing with trading, right? It sucks for the first few trades to act disciplined and focus on that type of approach. but the more you do it, the more you see it work, you just start to do it because it is what you do. So hopefully this lesson helps you out. If you have any questions, reach out to me down below in the comments section. Always happy to help you out. Make sure to follow me on Twitter for my updated play-by-play on all the stocks I trade. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook as well. If you want to be notified of future videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Also hit the bell notification next to it to be notified of future videos. And I'll see you in the next lesson.